Let's see if this works. Alrighty. Why is it not showing anything else? Alrighty. Why is it not showing? No. Okay, there it is. All right, guys. Welcome to Novatazz, and I'm Novatazz. This is Novatazz Customs, and we have with us Ignited Garage. If he wants, he can post his link down in the comments there to his channel. But today we are going to basically chit chat, and if any of you guys that anybody's in the comments that I know wants to come join us, then I'll get you the link and you can come join us up on the screen. I'm gonna wait for a few of you guys to get in here before I actually start the drawing. So I'm gonna at least wait probably about 5 minutes into the stream before I start doing the giveaway drawing. And then the rest of the time, we're just going to chit chat about the current events in automotive stuff. So let's see. We're going to talk about current events. The big one is the family cruising street racing incident where he got arrested. I guess it was Friday. We'll talk about that and some other things. I do have a GoFundMe link for them as well to help support them. But why don't you say hi? You there?
Yeah, I'm still here, buddy.
Why don't you say hi and tell them a little bit about your channel before we get going?
What's going on, guys?
See if we can get you some new subscribers, maybe.
That'd be awesome, but worst case first, I don't. Oh, well, I'm getting up there. I'm more or less doing import stuff. I'm a drifter. I've got a 93 240SX with a Sky. I've got a 99 Dodge that I'm rebuilding right now because the transmission's acting up. And
which, if you watch my channel, isn't much different than my 01 Dodge that I own.
Exactly. Now, I'm also hopefully next picking up a 1986 Toyota Corolla from a good friend of mine, which has no motor. I'm going to be rebuilding it, and I want to make it a show car. So I know it's totally out of what Novatazz does, and a lot of his followers are more American muscle.
Well,
I want to get American muscle, but I like my imports.
Well, I mean, just because you're into American muscle doesn't mean that you can't also be in the imports. I mean, I'm not particularly into most imports. I mean, I like Subarus and some of the rally cars and stuff like that. But no, I'm generally not overly the top enthusiastic about imports.
Exactly.
They just don't do it for me. But it doesn't mean that I don't respect them or that I don't respect builds that are being done on them, depending on how they're done. Like, you know, the extreme camber and stuff like that is a complete nope on my part. You know, that stuff just doesn't make any sense. I know that there are people out there.
I find that stuff a joke, so.
All right. Well, I mean, I know there's people out there that thoroughly enjoy that, and I don't want to knock their hobby and the things that they enjoy about their hobby, but it just isn't for me. I see that Doug's in the chat. I want to say hi to him. Yeah, I was in the Twizted Racing live stream the other day. I've been hitting up a few more of the live streams that I've been catching. Especially the car related ones. I was hit Udizzy a couple weeks ago. I was in, oh shoot, what was his name? Chopper's Rule. I was in Chopper's Rule. I've been in Pusa Studios. Not Pusa Studios. I've been in St. Autos. And then I was in Twisted R's the other night. Doug, did you happen to enter into the giveaway video that I posted on, I think you did, but I'm not positive. The one that I posted about a week ago. If you didn't, you still have a chance to enter that. I'm giving away one merch item from my Teespring store to whatever you want off my Teespring store for the giveaway. Whoever gets the winning comment. Yeah, I do like Chopper. He's a pretty cool dude, and I like the fact that he rescues animals too.
No, the only thing that I want to do is find one Mercury Cougar,
Yeah,
and restore it for my dad.
Yeah, I like the old like the Mustang style Mercury Cougars.
Yeah. He had one, he blew it up, and now he regrets getting rid of it, so.
I like the what is it called? The Eliminator?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a sweet car. I like the old school ones that they used to race in the sports car racing. The,
oh yeah.
It was an SCCA, basically the Trans Am series. Sorry, I'm trying to catch what's going on here.
Yeah, I'm just keeping an eye on the comments, so.
Yeah, my biggest thing is watching to make sure nobody posts anything inappropriate.
Yep. But I don't think these guys are going to do what
No,
I've seen in your live
it's
streams
normally
before.
random people that pop in that aren't actually my subscribers. They're the ones that end up posting things they're not supposed to be posting.
Oh, exactly.
All right, let's see here. We're at 37 minutes. We're almost 10 minutes into the live stream already. I think anybody sitting here watching it is going to want to know who it was by now. So, oh, you were the hard to find comment. That's right. I had to actually go into my review comments to find his. All right, so I'm going to try to share screen. So let's see here. I know there's a way to do that. No. Not the full room. There it is, screen share. Okay, we're going to share this screen here. So let me pull that one up. So we can pop this over here to the random comment generator. I'm going to reload this. We're going to paste the link to the video. I already had this pre-copied. So we're going to load the comments. Now I have 13 comments, 12 likes, and wow, I can't believe that's
a lot.
Can't believe that's the right amount of views. I don't think that's right. But whatever. Like I said, I'm using this site here. Just a random one I picked off of a Google search. So maybe you guys ready to see who it is? Oh, you're on Twizted Stars has their live stream at the same time, huh? Anyway, so let's pick the winner here. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Wow. Winner is AK Camaro 2017, and he's not even going to be on here because he has no internet right now. But yeah, he's got a really cool channel. Right now he's actually got a Mustang, even though his thing says Camaro 2017. There is a story to that, and I will get to that here in a minute. Are you guys actually seeing the right screen here? I don't know which you guys are seeing. I guess though.
Yeah, they are.
Anyway, so I'm gonna open up his channel here real quick because why not? Give him a shout out since he's the winner. Yeah, I have you guys. I do see you guys. Twizted R is on here, so I have all you guys on here, and I don't even have to go down very far. Now the thing with his channel is he had this this green 2017. What do they call that? They call it Krypton Green, and it actually caught fire. His garage caught fire, and it was parked next to his garage, and it went up in flames. He couldn't save it though. By the time he got out and saw that the garage was on fire, the fire was already bad enough that he couldn't get to the side of the car, and the flames had already hit the car. So I mean, the car was already done at that point.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, you have to go back about a year ago. He has all of his videos, and then he ended up having, like, the police weren't working with him. The fire investigators, didn't, they just basically just they I don't know what you call it. They kind of just went through the motions of what they're supposed to do, but like it was clearly an arson case, and they never actually went through with anything to do with it. But yeah, he has a bunch of videos on here. He's actually had his videos featured on the news a couple times. These ones right here, the Munchunk ground fire footage and drone footage was used in an actual news broadcast. Yeah, he's got some pretty good videos. He's got 514 subscribers. So he's getting there. He could use some more subs if you guys want to pop over and go check him out. But I'm going to pop back over to my camera here. I can figure out how to stop screen share. There we go. Okay, and I'm back. Let's see. Let's go back to the comments here so I can see what you guys were all saying. There we go. Okay, so let's see. No, Doug, I didn't see. What did you do? I wasn't in the I wasn't in his live stream today, so I didn't see. Unless you were talking about the haircutting thing in his last live stream, I did see that. And Eford, how do you say your name? Eford Garage? Is that Eford Garage? I forget how to pronounce your name. But AK Camaro 2017 is the winner of the giveaway. I will be in touch with him to figure out what he wants and get it out to him. So there's a couple other things I wanted to talk about. If you guys have any Eford, okay, got it. Yeah, Eford's got a really cool truck build. It's actually the one that's in his thumbnail, and that really turned out nice from what it was when he first started on it. He's got a couple good how-to videos and different things. I know the one he was testing the difference between, was it the cow induction hood? I think he did a test on how the carburetor reacted with or without the cow induction hood and different things. Old Car Auto Guy, you're the one with the used car lot, I think, and you I watched a couple of your videos where you were prepping cars for sale on your channel. Doug, I have to check out your channel here real quick. I forget. I gotta remember exactly which one is your channel. Let's see. Not that I haven't watched any of your videos, I just don't know it off the top of my head. Oh. Or maybe I'm not subscribed to your channel. Let's go.
Holy.
Let's go and go find it. Doug Sweener. There it is. All right. Well, I wasn't subbed before. I am now. Yeah, you were the one that shaved your head. That's right. Oh, you guys can't see that I'm looking at his channel. Hold on. There we go. There's Doug's channel. Let's get the comments back up here so I can see them. Mr. Something Basic, welcome to the channel. I don't think I've seen you before. So let's sit here and show off. Hopefully this is still coming up right. Yeah, it looks right. Show off some of Doug's here. Mud mower. Seems to be doing a lot of stuff with mowers. He looks like he's a lawnmower guy. Oh, that's a really nice looking knife. So I'll definitely have to check out his channel in my spare time. I don't believe I have seen much of his videos, but I'll have to go check them out. How's the car going? We talking to me, Mr. Something, or did I lose? No, I didn't. I didn't lose Ken. You're just sitting there very quiet.
Yeah, my fiance, so I'm gonna mute it when I don't talk, so you don't hear the crunch, crunch, crunch in the background.
The Trans Am right now is the whole front end of it's apart. In the last video, you saw that I went and had to pull the front radiator off because it was rotted. I do have it completely apart. I have the whole rotted section removed, and I have a good section off of one that I pulled out of the scrapyard. And I just have to get back up to where the car is at and get the two pieces spot welded together and get the rad support cleaned up and in some kind of paint so I can put it back in the car. As the Trans Am, I'm not actually restoring right now. The object with the Trans Am is just to get it back on the road so I can enjoy it. The car that I really am looking forward to getting in the shop is the Nova. That is the one that I'm really, really excited about digging into because doing a wide body kit on it, I'm possibly thinking about putting a modern, possibly an LQ4 engine drivetrain in that car. Basically, I'm looking for I'm looking to do an old school drag car look with it. I mean, it's already basically got that, but I want to exaggerate it a little more. I'm looking to put 14-inch wide tires under the back of that car and give it that nice old school late 70s, early 80s nose down drag car look. So, I mean, I'm really excited about getting that car in the shop and getting it torn apart and getting the bodywork squared away so I can start putting that car back together. It may not go with the modern drivetrain right away. I do have the 350 with the turbo 350 trans that does run and work just fine. Yeah, basically make it look beefier. You're correct. But I'm not going to slam the car. Like I've seen a lot of the newer cars, a lot of the new trend is to tuck the big fat tire up in the fender. Where they're going to tuck the tire up in the fender. I'm not looking for that look. I'm looking for that nice big rake where the back end is way up in the air and the front nose is down low. And you just have that big meaty tire just hanging out back there. I am tubbing the car as well. Like I said, I'm trying to fit a 14 or 15 inch wide tire back there. I'm going to move the inner fender wells all the way back to the frame. I might have to notch the frame a little bit just to make sure that I have a nice straight line. We'll be moving the shocks. It actually is an old school shackled rear right now, but I think I might possibly go with a 4-link or a truck arm setup. I'm not sure yet, but for right now, cost effective wise, it'll probably stay with the leaf springs. It is shackled already. It's got a 4-inch lift in the back as of right now, which is about the height that I want it. I just need to clearance the body to fit the wider tire. And there's some body issues that need to be taken care of. If you guys have followed my channel for any reasonable amount of time, you would have seen that I did go out and go buy a whole nother shell to replace my original shell. I went all the way out to Jersey, picked it up, and we basically stripped it all the way down to the frame and the rolling chassis. That's all that's left in the car. There's no wiring in it. There's no dash. There's no nothing. That is the shell that I am using, but it does have some body damage that I need to fix before I can actually start reassembling the car and doing the actual custom work that I want done. Some of that body damage that I have to fix, I'd have to cut out anyway to do what I wanted to do. It's one here that was kind of for sale, kind of what I'm describing. Yeah, I mean, the thing is I've had my Nova, and it's part of what gave me my name. My name is actually 2 parts. Originally, my nickname was Taz. I've been Taz since I was a kid. It goes back to how fast I could trash a room when I was a kid. So my mom called me the Tasmanian Devil, and that kind of stuck. And then when I got the Nova, all my new friends always called me Nova because of the car. I was infamous around the local area with that car, and it's kind of where I got my notoriety, and it's the reason why I started this YouTube channel to begin with. Was the original Nova that I had, which is actually the one I still have. I still have my original Nova, but that body will not be being used. As much of that car that I can transfer over to the new car as I can, I will, but the shell was too far gone to save. It would have taken me way too much time to replace the whole floor, the trunk pan, the wheel tubs, the quarters, the firewall section in the front. It would have just taken way too much effort to actually bring that car back. There wouldn't be anything left, I think, but the roof. I think the roof and the A-pillars, I think, are the only things that would have been saved on that car if I would have kept the shell. So the Nova I have had since 2007. So I've had that car for 11 years now. The Trans Am I picked up in 2014. And that car was a dream car. I've been hunting for a 79 Trans Am since, well, I've wanted one since I was a kid, and I have been looking for one for at least the last 10 years. It took me 3 years to wrangle that specific car away from the owner at the time. It is a 3-owner car. I am the 3rd owner of that car. And that the Trans Am only has 50-some thousand miles on it, and Nova has 120,000 miles on it. So both are really actually low mileage cars.
Hey, you know what? I gotta take off, buddy.
All right, see you, Ken.
See you, bud. Have a good one, guys.
Oh, the other thing is, not sure if you guys have seen any of my merch. This is one of the ones that I do sell. This is the Trans Am. I'm not sure if it's coming up backwards for you guys or not, but I know that on my screen it's backwards. But this is the front. This is the rear. I do have new designs up. So it has all my logo information on the back. I do have a bunch of different designs. If anybody wants me to go through my Teespring account, I can go through it again. I did go through it in the last live stream. But I am enjoying this other conversation that we're having here. So any other questions about the cars on my channel, or where I'm going, or what you guys want to see on my channel? I'd like some feedback. I don't actually get a lot of feedback on my channel from the random comments. Go support and get. Thank you, Ken. So more you guys keep the comments going, the more active I can be, because now I don't have Ken to talk off of. If any of you guys want to pop up on the live stream, I can send you the link for the stream, and you can come chit chat with me up on the screen, and we'll come look at your channel and some things. Keep this conversation going, because I'm not really good at talking by myself. But I guess I can talk more about. For now, I can talk about the one car we haven't talked about on the channel yet so far would be the Dodge Ram. That I had a lot of videos on not this current summer. Oh, that sucks, Eford. I do run a 4th generation Nova page on Facebook, so I do see a lot of the cars that come up for sale, because they do end up on my page at some point or other. I may have actually even seen it if somebody in your area was on my Facebook page. Yeah, I guess that kind of sleeping wives don't want to know that they were live on YouTube later down the road, do they? But anyway, like I said, the only car that I haven't talked about that's on my channel right now is the Dodge Ram. It's an 01. It's fully loaded as far as I can tell. I don't think there's an option that it doesn't have. But right now it does have transmission issues like Ken's does. We went all last summer going through trying to diagnose what actually was wrong with it. I had that transmission apart like 3 times. Finally, I broke down and I was able to pick up a pressure test gauge. I had a pressure test gauge, but not the right one to test that transmission. So I didn't have one to trust me, I know the dad life. I have 3 kids. So in fact, there are 2 of them that I have with me tonight are sleeping. So that's why I wait till after 9 to do my live streams. But anyway, after running the pressure test and finding out that every single test came back low pressure, I'm pretty sure that the fluid pump is what went, and I didn't replace that. I should have, but I didn't. It's the only piece it was the only wearing component that I didn't replace, because it was $180 to pick it up, and I was trying to just get the truck back on the road with the least amount of money possible. And that was a year and a half ago. So the truck has literally been sitting, which kind of sucks for me, because I could have used that truck a few times in the last year, especially last winter with all that snow that we had up here. And I've heard that this winter might be worse. So need to get that truck back on the road. But it's basically just a 360 automatic, 4-wheel drive. It's the off-road edition, so it has all the skid plates underneath of it, and the special front diff. No, I never replaced the pump. I pulled it out and I rebuilt it, but I didn't replace it. They did come with all new gaskets and stuff that I put on it, but I didn't actually replace the hard components, which apparently there's something wrong with it in there, because that's the only thing that I can think that it would be. Yeah, way to go, old car guy. I think I still need to, Mr. Something, remind me to come check out your channel after I'm done on here. Or maybe we'll check it out in a couple minutes. Hey, Classic Ride, what's up? Hey, those Phoenixes are pretty weird looking. I mean, it's really cool seeing a 4th gen with that aerodynamic front nose. Considering I'm used to the real flat front noses on those cars. Next time you catch one of them in the yard, let me know, and I'll let you know if there's any parts that I need off them, because I basically cleaned the ones up here in this area. They don't show up in my yard as much as they used to. A lot of the dirt track racers up here snag them up. So they're not actually easy to find parts for. I mean, I don't know how much of the car. I mean, I pretty much customized most of my car already, mainly because, again, it is hard to find parts for it. So you end up modifying the parts you have. Then, you know, and to get them to work, because you can't find new ones and you can't find used ones. All right, see you, old car guy. So yeah, I've done a lot of customizing to my car. In fact, actually, I have a piece of my car sitting here in the house. Now, I don't know how many of you guys actually remember my Nova build, but this is actually one of the only pieces to that car I have in the house, mainly because I didn't want to see this get ruined. This is actually a sign that I had made for the back package tray in between the speakers. It would have sat like this in the back window, laying down in between the speakers. So when you look through the back glass, you would see this laying there. And I'll tell you what, it wasn't easy making this. It is actually made out of basically hardboard, and even the Dremel didn't want to cut through it. But it is all hand carved. In fact, I actually have a video on this package tray on my channel, but that is way, way back. I mean, we're talking like 2013 that I did this. But yeah, this is the only piece that I still have of my Nova in this house that I know of. The rest of it is in where I'm keeping the cars. Let me go put this back here real quick. Any other questions from you guys? Yeah, you should. You're right. It is a lot of work, and that was only a small part of that package tray. I had made the speaker ports into Chevy symbols, and had hidden the actual speakers underneath of them, so all you saw was actually the Chevy symbols. All right, let me answer let me answer Eford's question first. The plans for the engine and the Trans Am. The original engine in that car was a 403 Oldsmobile, which I had. I blew it up. I didn't have access to any of that stuff, Eford, when I he said my lazy ass would have went to work and had it cut out on the laser. I didn't have that option. Basically, I had my Dremel, and I think I had a no, I didn't even have my jigsaw, the little portable jigsaw. I didn't even have that at that time. I got that afterwards. So that was literally all cut out with a Dremel, all cut out with a Dremel. That's what it was. One of those Dremel spiral drill bits, the ones that cut sideways. And then it was cleaned up with some sanding discs. But anyway, back to the comment about the Trans Am. So the Trans Am originally had a 403 Olds. When I got the car, one of the lifters was collapsed, and there was a giant vacuum leak where there was a busted off vacuum bung on the #1 intake runner. So there wasn't any fuel getting to #1 intake, and the number 1, 2, 1, 3, 5. The #7 cylinder had a collapsed. I think it was a exhaust. It was either, I think it was an exhaust lifter was collapsed, so it wasn't opening all the way. So it was basically running on 6 cylinders, and I fixed all of that. And then about 8 months later, a lifter collapsed on it again, and I spun a bearing. So I pulled that motor, and we went all the way down to Sweetwater, Tennessee, and picked up the motor that's in it now. What's in it now is a 1976 Pontiac 400 with a Ram Air 3 cam. I think they call it an 041. Yeah, 041 grind, which is basically the Ram Air 3 cam from like the 1968 GTO. I think it's 68. I forget what year the Ram Air 3 was. I do believe it was 68. But it was in all the Ram Air 3 cars, the Firebird Formulas, the GTOs. So that's the car that's in it now. I mean, the motor that's in it now. The object right now is I need to get the carburetor sent out, which is actually sitting on my front porch right now, waiting for me to have the money to have it sent out. I live paycheck to paycheck, so yeah, it's going to be a while. So the carburetor needs to get sent out. I need to do plugs and wires on it, and that sucker should run. If you've seen the video from the 4th of July and maybe 1 or 2 before that, it does that car gets up and goes. Before I figured out the transmission issue, I was playing around with it in reverse, and it's got a lot of torque. It's not going to be, no 250 mile an hour car, but it'll get up to 0 to 60 pretty quick. It's going to be a nice traffic light burner. Basically street light to street light fun toy. It's not going to be any super high speed run car, but eventually what I would like to do with it is I would like to build a Butler Performance, what is it, a 462, basically a 455 stroked out. Aluminum heads, aluminum intake, and fuel injected throttle body. Should make around 600 horsepower on pump gas and get close to 20 miles to the gallon if the tune is right, which is where I'm heading for. And it should all fit underneath of the factory shaker, which is what I want. I don't want to get rid of the shaker. I don't want to get rid of the classic look of when you pop the hood of that car. I want it to look stock underneath the car. I mean, underneath the hood. So when you pop the hood open, it's going to look like a yeah, that's what I thought, a 462. But yeah, I want that engine just to have the modern horsepower numbers, but look classic underneath. And with Butler Performance and the things that they're doing with with their engines, their new aluminum heads and everything, they can make the numbers that a modern LS can make. So it just the bottom end is what doesn't hold up on them. So I'm not looking to make a giant horsepower car. I guess if I wanted to do that, I would have to eventually switch over to some sort of big block GM. So we got a Poncho 400 short block with a Speed Pro forged pistons. Damn, that's a nice base to start with. Yeah, I mean, I picked up my engine. I think I picked mine up 700, and I went all the way down to Tennessee to go get it. But it's already been built, so there's nothing I need to do to that engine except for get like the carburetor done. It's got headers on it. It's got the cam in it. It's bored 30 over, so it's not a Pontiac 400 anymore because, like I said, it's bored 30 over, and it's got shaved heads with the cam. The only thing else that I would probably want to do with it is to find some of the high compression heads that they ran on the 78 Trans Ams. I think that'd be the only thing that I would want to change on it, if with that stock setup, until I went to the Butler Performance engine. But that's going to cost me probably close to $4 to $5 grand to build that motor, and I don't have that right now. Somebody else had another question. The LS swap. As far as I know, the LQ4 is an LS. Join the guys at Pontiac Drag Racers on Facebook. They will tell you the different. A lot of knowledge. A lot of those guys are making a lot of power, and they hold together for years. Yeah, I think some of my biggest inspiration would be the Crow and his GTO that he had, or does have. I think he brought it back. But LS swap in the Trans Am, no. Now, the Nova, on the other hand, I am thinking about going with an LQ4, which, from what I started, is just basically an iron block LS. It's either that, or if I can find one of the motors out of these newer, when did they start the new Camaros? Basically, the motors that they're putting in the new Camaros and the Corvette with the stock blower setup. If I can find a wrecked one of those cars in Copart or something and get the whole drivetrain out of it, I would definitely drop that in the Nova. I mean, you cannot beat 600 horsepower with that multi-displacement engine, and basically, you know, like I said, 600 horsepower, and the gas mileage that those things are getting is just insane. And then, you know, you see people like Darmageddon ZL1 and Mike and a few of them, and they're getting 1,000 horsepower out of those engines with a stock bottom end. Granted, they're not holding much more than 1,000 horsepower, but 1,000 horsepower is pretty impressive. But yeah, those engines are pretty impressive, and I can't say that I would turn down one of them if I could find it. Yeah, it's probably where I would get an LQ4 at is out of a truck, or like a lot of the times you can pick up one of those mini buses or one of those transport trucks that have these LQ4s already in them. The problem is I would need the whole drivetrain, not just the block. I'd want the block, the trans, the wiring harness, everything but the rear end, because I would probably snag the rear end that I have right now for the Nova, which is a 68. No. Yeah, I think it's a 68 limited slip diff from a Firebird is what's underneath the back of that Nova right now. So I would probably keep that because that would probably hold up a lot more than the rear end out of one of these trucks. Have a 1982 C10 305. What can you do with it without breaking the bank? Well, you can go hunt the junkyards for a 350 or small block LS and drop that in there. Like I said, if you get it from the junkyard, you got everything you need to drop it in, as long as you're not looking to add horsepower to it. If you want to know what I did with my 305, it's sitting on my front porch. It's got I made it into a table, because that's about what I wanted to do with it. There's a story to that 305. I originally had a inline 6 in my Nova, and I was looking for a V8, and a buddy of mine that is no longer a buddy of mine, he told me about this guy that had a 350. So trusting him, I went and looked at the motor. It looked clean. It looked like it was fresher rebuilt, and so I paid the guy for it. And they both told me that it was a 350, and my stupid butt didn't run the numbers and actually double check to see what it was. And so I picked it up because I was just going off I was trusting my friend that he knew what he was talking about, and that's what it was. And I don't know why that started. Hold on. My YouTube just started. Let me just shut that off. Anyway, so I couldn't figure out why I couldn't get this engine to make any power. It seemed like such a dog. No matter what I did to it, it just it wouldn't run the way I was expecting a 350 to run. I threw a 650 Edelbrock on it, which should have woke it right up. Nothing. Still flat on its face. Couldn't even do a burnout in the car. And if you know these 4th gen Novas, they're not heavy, especially when all the interior sound deadening and all that stuff is stripped out of it. They're not a heavy car. I think like 32,000 pounds, 3,200 pounds. They don't weigh a whole heck of a lot for an older car. And so I couldn't even get the car to do a burnout. And I got pissed off the one day, and so I started doing some research, and I went and looked at the block number, and here it comes back. It's a 305, and it's not even like a good 305. It's an 80s 305. It's still the two-pace remain seal, but you know, the 305s in the 80s, they weren't very good. You're looking at like maybe just over 100 horsepower. So I went and hunted down. I found a 350 that could possibly be a 4-bolt main out of a 79 truck. And yes, Classic Rides is right. This is the best way to do an LS swap. But anyway, so I pulled that motor in. I tore it down. Here to find out, it's still got the hone scratch in the cylinder bores. It's got the flat top pistons with the valve reliefs. So the bottom end was pretty well done. And I still tore it apart anyway. Replaced all the bearings. Replaced the cam bearings. I did keep the original cam that was in it. Mainly because I didn't have the money for a cam. I mean, I put like maybe $600 into that motor. So I replaced the cam. I replaced the bearings. Put a double roller timing chain on it. A double roller. Yeah, double tooth timing chain. High flow, high output pump, oil pump on it. Basically built the engine like I would any street engine. And then when it came to the cylinder heads, I actually took the cylinder heads off my 305 because they were 2-inch intakes, which is a pretty big intake valve. And then with the 305 having a smaller combustion chamber, it brought the engine up to 11-to-1 compression, and that's what I'm running in the Nova right now. Ooh, excuse me. And that motor is pretty awake. I mean, it's not no massive horsepower. I mean, it's got no power adders added at all, except for the smaller CC cylinder heads. So if that answers your question. So you guys are talking amongst yourselves here. Shit, how long have I been on so far? Are we talking old school 350? I haven't bought one in a few years, but I mean, anywhere from, depends on whether you want a rebuildable core, if you're looking for a built motor. Well, I mean, it is basically a guessing game. I mean, it depends on what the person's selling it for, and what you're willing to pay. And what condition the engine is in. It's just like buying a car. There's no exact price that you're going to be able to be looking for. I mean, I paid $150 for my unrestored 350 that I had no clue what condition it was in. Yeah, it's I can't give you I can't give you can't give you advice on finding a good mechanic. I trust myself. That's about it. That's basically all you can do unless you're going to strip that engine down right there on the spot. The only thing you can do is cross your fingers and hope you have what the seller is trying to say it is. Until you get that back to the shop and you tear it apart, you have no idea what you have. That's I every single time I have taken something of mine to a shop to have done, I have regretted it. The transmission that is in my Nova, I paid $1,200 for, and literally, I could have done what they did myself, and then I wouldn't have ran into the issue because it leaks. It's a brand new freaking built transmission, and it leaked right after the get go. And because I didn't throw it right in the car right away, I didn't know it leaked until months after the transmission was done because I had to have the rest of the car finished. Um, and at that time, I was having issues with the 305 at the time. And by the time I got the transmission in and full of fluids, my 30-day warranty that they give you was up, and I never even had a drop of transmission fluid in that transmission until probably a good 3 months after it was done. Damn. And you think that you, from a machine shop, I mean, geez, they would have magnafluxed the block to find out if it had a crack. You know, and if buying something from a machine shop, I think I would have wanted to see the results of a magnafluxing before I bought it because they have a capability of doing it right there. I rebuilt a tranny that's in the Trans Am right now, which was a Turbo 350. I put a B&M shift kit in it just to help stiffen up the shifts and to hold out the shifts a little longer. Yeah, I would say so. I mean, if machine shop's going to be shady like that, people are going to get word around, and there's not going to get any business. They're just going to fold up. The transmission shop that I took my transmission to is no longer in existence either. I think it was. I think it disappeared a year after I had the transmission done. It folded up. By the way, if any of you guys want to support the channel and help these projects along, I do have a Patreon, and or you can buy some merchandise off my Teespring account. All the money that is taken from either of those locations will go directly back into the projects. That's not money that's going for my own personal use. It'll be YouTube funds only. And that would definitely be a big help. Yeah, that sucks, man, because then you have to do the work twice. When it comes back, you got to pull that transmission back out again. And I don't believe they're covered the second time. Oh, that's some shady BS. Freaking that's just shady. I've had some pretty bad experiences. I think my worst experience ever is I had the front windshield was cracked in my Nova, and so I took it to Safelite. Now, Safelite wasn't the people that royally screwed me over. It was the persons they sent the car out to have some of the rust damage fixed so they could put the new windshield in. Excuse me. So I took it out to Safelite Auto Glass to get a new windshield put in it, which is fine. You know, they quoted I think like $400 or $500 tops to pull the old one out and to put the new one in, and that's the one with the strip across the top of the windshield for the sun glare, and it has the radio antenna in the windshield. I don't have an actual external antenna, so they pulled the glass out and they realized that the bottom of the top of the dash where the window sits was rotted out underneath of the window. So they needed to have that repaired before they can install the new windshield. So they sent it down the street to a Mako auto body who was going to do the patch to put it in. Well, they had the car for like 2-3 weeks. Now at this time, this was my only car. I didn't have another car to fall back on. So I was using this Nova as a daily driver, and you know they just BSing around and didn't get to it. Well, they ended up patching it with, I don't even know what they patched it with, but it wasn't. They didn't actually weld a new piece of metal in. They put something liquid that hardened up, and while they were doing some of the grinding, they literally sat the grinder down on my fender. And I was like, you know, and they didn't even want to act like they did anything. Plus, they got some of the stuff, whatever they used to make the patch, they got it all over my my seats and the dash, and they got it on my hood as well. And so I'm pissed. You know, number one, they've had my car for like 2-3 weeks. They fucked up. Now it was by no means some glorious paint job. It was a flat black with, at that time, red rally stripes. And in fact, I had just got done doing that paint job less than like 6 months before that. So I was kind of quite pissed to find out that they messed up the paint. If you go back on my Instagram, I think you can see it on my Instagram. If not, I'll have to post some pictures of it. But I was pissed, and eventually, Safelite actually did not charge me for any of that work. I was so pissed, and they treated me really nice. Safelite did a really good job. I had no problems with Safelite. All right, I see you, Classic Ride. Safelite did me really well, and they put all brand new clips for the window trim and everything else, and it's a gorgeous windshield, and I'm quite happy with their service. But oh my God, that was a nightmare with Mako. I definitely will not be taking another car there ever again for anything. Not that I would have to begin with, because just you get what you pay for, and Mako's nothing but a really, really cheap, don't give a shit option. All right, see you, Efford. Eford. I think I might wrap up this video as well. Unless anybody else has any other questions. You got my cat over here in the corner here. What do you want? But I'll be out working. Hopefully, I'll be able to get out to the Trans Am tomorrow and get working on that rad support a little bit more. We'll find out. But all right, guys, take care. I'll see you in the next one. Peace. Be safe.